Good morning, everyone. I'd like to talk about school discipline, or rather, the lack thereof. Today, I received a note from a parent who sends me things periodically, and is one of many parents who send me things periodically. And the note included a video, or more accurately, a video of a video taken outside her daughter's school. The school is located in an affluent district in New Jersey. I'm not going to name it because it's kind of irrelevant. All you need to know is that this district was not in the quote hood. Not that that would justify fighting, but if your tendency is to think, oh, school fight must be an urban district, must be kids who are on the margins, must be kids who are, food insecure and have trauma in their lives and are low socioeconomic status, whatever story you might have been tempted to tell yourself about the fighting seventh graders in the video, just put that right out of your head, because these are kids from upper middle class or even higher backgrounds, and they don't fit the typical demographic of kids fighting. In fact, they're girls, and I know that we have seen more and more girl fights, but two girls fighting. What was the fight allegedly about? One of the girls allegedly said something, quote, racist to the other girl. That's the story going around. This was outside the school, I think at the beginning of the day, because the parent's child saw this fight happening as she got off the bus. So what did other students do? Well, of course, they recorded it on their phones, don't you know? That's how things happen now. What did the teachers present do? Nothing. Exactly nothing. In the video, you can see one of the girls has the other one on the ground and is beating her around her head mercilessly. The outcome apparently is that both students have been suspended for 1 week, and the investigation that is ongoing is into whether the girl actually said something racist. That's the investigation. Did she actually say something racist? And what was the racist thing she said? Does that work for you, parents? That we're more concerned about what words sparked the fight than that the child who threw the first punch thought a word merited violence? Shouldn't that be the concern? Aren't we supposed to be teaching our children that words are not violence, and that there are words you can say to somebody that are wrong and you shouldn't say them, and you shouldn't be, nasty, rude, whatever. Let's go ahead and say the girl said something not very nice. We don't know that though, but let's say, is that violence that warrants violence in response? Because to me, violence is only warranted after someone else throws the first punch. That's it. Even if the person who got punched said something nasty or rude, even if that were true, you don't lay hands on another person. You do not initiate force against another person. That's what we should be teaching our kids. That's not the response. Let's say the girl said the worst possible racist thing you could say directly in this girl's face, which would be odd because she doesn't fit that demo. But let's just say she did say something like that with an earshot or directly to her. Wouldn't it have been more appropriate for that girl on the receiving end of the alleged insult to go to an adult and say, this person just said whatever? Right then, it just happened. And then that teacher, that administrator, whatever, could turn to the person in question and say, did you? Put them on the spot. Did you say this? Get the story as close to the time that it happened as possible. And guess what? That kid could still lie. Could still say, no, I never said that. Not at all. Never said that. And now the adult has a decision to make. Do you take the word of the person bringing you the story? Because it's words after all. It's words. It's not actual violence. Or do you say to the kids, look, I'm sorry that whatever happened hurt your feelings and you feel upset about it, and we can talk more about that if you like, and I sure hope it's true that you didn't say anything, because we don't say things like that in this school. We don't tolerate that kind of intolerance in the school. But since I wasn't there and I didn't hear it, and unless you can bring me some corroborating evidence or other witnesses or whatever who say that it actually happened, I can't really decide. I can't take a side here. Unless you, the adult, refuse to be triangulated, because that's what it is. We've literally taught our kids to use adults to potentially bully other children. So if the kid who was offended came to the adult and said, I'm offended, I'm not throwing any punches, but I'm offended, do something, the appropriate response wouldn't be, I'm going to do something, you are punished for your words, because we don't know if it actually happened. And wouldn't that be a neat way to bully and get people punished who we don't like? So we can't just take their word for it. Can't do that. Got to actually have some kind of benefit of the doubt. By the same token, we can't allow the person coming to report to think that they should always come to us. We say, I suggest that both of you, if you want to continue to have anything to do with each other, but I absolutely support you're not doing that. Just pass each other in the hallway and avoid each other if you don't like each other. You're not going to like everybody. That's okay. I'm sorry this happened. I wish you could figure out a way to get along. But if you can't, then I suggest you just stay apart. But if you want to resolve it, I think you should have a face-to-face discussion about what bothers you and why you don't like this, and try to resolve it. If you would like the school counselor to be present just to make sure it stays, polite, we can do that. We can arrange like a mediation between the two of you, but I can't make a decision on who's guilty. What are we going to do about how you feel and what's going on here? Because obviously the person accused doesn't want to be accused again either. So there's something to resolve there to protect both of them. But that's not what's happening. None of that is happening. We're teaching kids words are violence. Well, what happens if you teach a kid the words are violence? Well, then that means it's self-defense. I'm hitting somebody in self-defense. And then when we turn around and we do an investigation into the violent words, what were the violent words that were said, like it matters? We are reinforcing that across the whole school. We're now telling the kids across the whole entire school that that's what matters, is what were the words? Were they in fact violent? Did it justify? Nothing justifies it. Nothing justifies the violence. But that's what we're doing. We're saying something does justify the violence. That doesn't go anywhere good, you guys. And let's talk about even just the she said something racist. So, words, regardless, like I said, it could be the worst thing in the world. It doesn't justify violence. But at this point, it didn't have to be the worst thing in the world, did it? It could have just been, let's go Brandon. That we're told is racist. It could be, I really hate this critical race theory stuff they're teaching us. Or, my mom says blah, blah, blah. Or you voted for Youngkin. That could be racist. We're told our very existence on this planet as white people is racist. Our very being. Things that we actually value. Objectivity, science, reality, critical thinking. Showing up on time, getting the right answer. I mean, the Smithsonian told us last summer these things were racist. So exactly what anymore isn't racist? Well, I really like to know. They're even, Winsome Sears is racist. She's black. She was born in Jamaica. But what? Okay, so anything they don't like is racist. And we are now telling our children, as long as you can claim that something you don't like is racist, then the other person's going to come under scrutiny. And go ahead and whoop their butt right there on the school grounds, and we'll stand by and watch and wait till you're done. We're not going to protect anybody's children from physical violence. We're not going to, resource officers, no, that's racist. Parents getting in the middle of it, teachers getting in the middle of it, having any adults in the middle of it. No. It's really hard at this point for me not to wonder, aloud, obviously, whether they are letting the kids do this and doing nothing about it so they can justify all the SEL expenditures, which are now in the billions nationwide, hundreds of millions statewide. And they tell us, without any data to show for it, that they need all of this therapy and counseling and so forth in the schools. Well, this video makes the rounds and they claim something racist was said, and that's probably why they want that, because then they can go say, well, look, we just had a physical altercation because these kids are so racist towards each other that we need to do the social emotional learning so they'll stop being racist. How about we just make a hard and fast rule against physical violence? How about we do that? And we enforce it absolutely every time. How about we stop triangulating with the kids and letting them believe that, we're the go-tos to solve all their problems, so they have no coping skills whatsoever except to go to adults. And SEL training sends that message too. Well, you need to go for more training with the adults. There's nothing you can resolve on your own, 7th grader. There's no conversation you can have mostly on your own. just the two of you. We need to involve the whole school. We need to get everybody involved and all the adults involved, and we need to deputize everybody as a snitch in order to prevent this kind of thing, because you have no individual agency. You can't be expected to resolve your own problems without training for the whole school. No, we just need some clear rules that we enforce because we're the adults, and that's it. And if you don't like it, if you don't like the rule that you can't hit someone, and I don't care what they said to you, because words are not violence, then maybe school isn't the place for you. That really should be the rule, but it isn't. So I would really like parents to start asking questions like, how is my child supposed to learn anything? Even the garbage curriculum they're pushing, even the activist, lessons they're learning. If they're so busy worrying about their feelings and getting in a fight and who's going to be the justified party in the fight and what words come out of my mouth might be perceived as racist, so then somebody will justifiably beat me down. When you are worried about your physical safety, it's pretty difficult to learn anything. You're on heightened alert about every last little thing, and you're listening for threats. What we're doing is, without needing to, we are taking kids who are not at zero in terms of what your daily concerns are. Zero being, I just want to stay alive and survive and be physically okay. That's basically ground zero. It's sort of just the state of humankind without all the things that we have to protect us, including trust. All right. And we as a society are so far above zero. We're not really as a society worried about where our food's coming from. We don't really worry about walking outside of our house and the next person who comes up to us wants to kill us, things like that. That's why Portland is such a problem, is you can't walk down the street and think that the person running towards you might just, be a friend who wants to give you a hug, or the person walking up to you to say, hey, excuse me, might just want directions. You might be wondering, do I need to start running? Are they coming at me to punch me? Are they coming at me to rob me? Okay, that's getting you closer to zero on the civilizational scale, closer to chaos, closer to anarchy. The breakdown of civilization. I don't care how much money you have. That's where civilization lives, in the, do I trust that the total stranger coming up to me has no ill intent towards me physically? Okay. And here we're taking kids in school and we're bringing them intentionally, it would seem, closer to zero. And the argument is that will help them learn and make them better people. Please explain how that works. How teaching kids that they should fear words, they should fear each other if they're of a different race because they were hunted and they were oppressed and they're victims, and then telling the ones who are the oppressors, well, but you're the oppressors. You need to be afraid of being a bad person now, because who wants to be an oppressor? Nobody. No young child wants to be perceived as the enemy by others, because now they're worried, are they going to jump me because they're afraid? Preemptively in self-defense, because I exist. I'm a threat to them. So now you're worried about them. They're worried about you. Everybody is in a state of heightened alert and worry. I can't trust the person sitting next to me. I can't have a conversation with my friend near a tree. My daughter learned that lesson. Or somebody's going to run up to us and demand an apology and get up in our faces and say they're going to beat us down. That was almost 3 years ago, guys. That happened to my kid, and here we are. This is the logical conclusion of that kind of discipline. Oh, and P.S., restorative justice is not allowing this to happen. They might tell you it is. That's not what this is. That's not what this is. So they keep using terms, social emotional learning, restorative justice, things that used to be good, things that used to have a purpose, but they're misapplying the terms so that you think they're doing the good thing they used to be doing, when in fact they're doing the exact opposite. They are intentionally, it would seem, not intentionally maybe in their minds, but through their actions, this is what they're doing. So they may be like misguided, but that is what's happening. We want the intent to matter more than the outcome. They say so explicitly. Okay, well, this is what you get. So this is the result of those supposedly good intentions. You get Lord of the Flies. And it's only November of the first year after full-on school opening in most places. I'm telling you, by the end of this year, there will probably be a death somewhere. If not maybe even more than one. In Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, the district I would be in if I were a crazy person, there have been 14 guns. I think there might have been a 15th one found this week, but 14 guns brought to school. Why do you think kids are bringing guns to school on the regular now? Why is that happening? You think that maybe they're afraid, or maybe they feel aggressive towards their fellow students? And you think that maybe the messages they're getting in their curriculum have something to do with that? I do. I certainly do. So I just want you parents to start to think about school discipline. What should it be? What shouldn't it be? What is it and what isn't it? And can students learn in an environment where they are literally worried that the next word out of their mouths will be perceived as racist or sexist or homophobic or transphobic or misogynistic or whatever, because they have seen what happens to people who are perceived to have said something like that, given a look, done the wrong thing, and then they'll be suspended any damn way. That's what happened to this girl. And the faculty and everybody else are more concerned about, what did she say? What did she say? Did she say anything racist? What was it? How racist was it? Why are we even having that conversation? Would it make a difference? No, it wouldn't. So think about it. That's my video for today. I hope I have given you something to think about. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Join me on Locals at thereasonwelearn.locals.com. Have a great day.